Well, joining me now is the Russian businessman, proprietor of the Independent Eye and the London Evening Standard, amongst other things, Alexander Lebedev. Mr. Lebedev, thank you for being with us. Is it a good thing that President Putin has returned for another 6 years as president?
Well, there's no doubt that he has received his 63% of the vote honestly, and there's no doubt either that this is not a fair election. For example, if I were supposed to run, then there's no way I could get 2 million signatures in 3 months, in 3 weeks all over the country, and the Special Government Commission would never agree to let me run. And also there's a lot of media control by the state. But let's be considerate. I've seen elections much worse than that. When I was running against the Mayor Lushkov in 2003, or in Sochi, or to gain my seat in the parliament in 2007, the elections were much more rigged and much less fair. So I think this new institution, which is the street protests, which are far from being revolutionary, they're just an expression of a feeling from the most intelligent part of the society that the other institutions are not functioning. The elections, the parties, the parliament, the judicial system. So it works. I think we have achieved quite a lot. And I'm not an emigre here, by the way. I'll be back to Moscow and hopefully take my part in. I'm trying to be, as a publisher of Novaya Gazeta, neutral. But in a sense, if my feeling is right, this new institution of expressing ourselves to the bureaucracy about corruption and maltreatment could achieve a lot of reforms in the country, and hopefully Putin would listen to what we're saying.
So, in other words, what you're saying is that you believe that it was an illegitimate election if you take the whole process together, and that it will simply result in street protest, popular uprising, which will force President Putin to make concessions.
Well, the question of legitimacy will be hanging around, but I'm afraid the only answer to that is the judicial system. Since it's neither independent, nor efficient, nor acceptable, I'm afraid we won't be able to answer this question until we reform the judicial system, which is exactly what Putin promised in his 8 articles, which he published in the recent 2 weeks. And then look what Medvedev has done. He called for the Constitutional Assembly to be elected and the law to be changed, and also to look into the case of Khodorkovsky. Who knows? Maybe we are facing a new phase in Russia reforms development where Putin and Medvedev will play their role. I can only hope for that, sitting here in the nice weather in London, as everybody else. But I'm thinking the people in the streets would still be saying their word quite assertively in the upcoming months.
Well, as you say, President Putin has written articles about what he might do. In your view, what are the things that he needs to do to properly reform Russia?
I don't think we have a lot of options, frankly. Tightening the screws, I don't think it's going to lead anywhere. Leaving the things the way they used to be in the recent 10 years with these levels of corruption and a complete indifference on behalf of the bureaucracy towards the people. So reforms is probably the best advised course that Putin should be taking. Let's keep our fingers crossed. I mean, he's got all of the potential with this mandate to really make us a European country from the point of view of every institution or prosperity or healthcare or education.
But I mean, right now,
that's my advice to him. I don't know whether he's of any interest of listening to my advice.
I mean, right now, would it be safe for you to go back and live in Russia, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I enjoy living there, frankly. And the electorate of Putin, and he has his nucleus electorate, which runs into definitely tens of millions of people. I mean, I think it's a genetic memory, because these people do remember that Russia has never lived better than in the recent 10 years. Probably not because of the people running the country, but on parallel, I mean, that's quite a reason to be taken into account. It could be much better, though, if not for corruption or a lack of proper institutions. This is something he has all of the power to change.
And if you take a British perspective on this. We know that there's going to be a phone call this afternoon between David Cameron and Vladimir Putin. Do you think that Vladimir Putin represents a threat to British interests?
Let's focus on, for example, the Magnitsky case. Putin recently said we need to improve the law on parliamentary investigations. Now, I've recently suggested we implement in the country, through changes in the parliamentary investigations law, the special prosecutor's office for cases like that. Now, there is a law now here in this parliament about Magnitsky case, and there's also a special list in the Senate in the United States. Why not investigate it through the local parliament in Russia? Because this is a highly acute question about Magnitsky. What country you are if you have rogue police and judge stealing taxes paid by other people and pocketing and money laundering it outside the country? So it's pretty interesting whether Putin would implement what he promised. But
Mr. Lebedev, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
I think stands to gain by that.